Let's go ahead and check your study guide. The word percent means per 100. Remember, there's 100 pennies in a dollar. To change a fraction to a decimal, I can either divide or change my denominator to 10 or 100. Okay, let's take a look down here. Everybody should be pros at this one. You want to turn your fraction into a decimal and percent. So either you could get that denominator to 100 or you could divide. I'm actually going to simplify this one first to 3/4 because now that I have 3/4, now I can get my denominator to 100. 4 times 25 is 100. 3 times 25. 75 hundredths I can write as 75 hundredths. Now to make that to a percent, remember percent means per 100. So I need to take that decimal and multiply it by 100. It's like I'm moving that decimal 2 times, so we get 75%. You could have also divided. There's always more than one way to get our answer. Here, if I have 7 2/100ths, I'm going to write it as 7 2/100ths. Now, don't forget to simplify if possible. So I'm going to divide the top and the bottom by 2, and I get 7 1/50. Now, when I make that to a percent, I have to multiply it by 100 or move that decimal 2 times to get 702%. Now, let's go the other way. If I have 4.5%, this might have been a tricky one for you. This way, we have to go backwards. If we were multiplying by 100, now we need to divide by 100. So if I had that 4.5 and I'm dividing by 100, I move my decimal my other way. So I'm going to move it back to the left 1 twice, and I'm going to add a 0 in that spot. So I get 45 thousandths. Now that I have 45 thousandths, I can write that as a fraction. You write it how you read it. 45 out of 1,000. Okay, let's take a look at our next one here. I know 25 is a multiple of 100, so I'm going to do 25 times 4, 17 times 4. I get 68 over 100, so I'm going to write that as 68 hundredths. And then I'm going to do my percent, so 68 times 100. Move that decimal 2 times, 68%. 4 hundredths is 4 over 100. Simplify it down here. And we get 1 over 25. Check yours with mine as we're going. 0.04, 4 hundredths. Move that decimal 2 times, and I get 4%. If I'm comparing here, I need to put them in the same form. So if I have 1.3, I know I can easily make this to a percent by multiplying it by 100 or moving that decimal 2 times. I can see this one is larger. My next one, I'm going to do the same. Move my decimal 2 times to get 73%. Now my next one, 2/5. I can get that to a denominator of 10 Gonna multiply the top and the bottom by 2. If I get 4/10, it's 0.4. I can always add a 0 on the end to compare. So I see 68/100 is larger. On this one here, I'm going to do the same. 2 3/5. I'm going to make it have a denominator of 10. And I get 2 6/10. So now I can see this one is larger. For your next one, put them all into the same form. So 2/4 I know is 1/2, which I know is 50%. I'm going to move this decimal 2 times. This is 5%. So here now we can see 0.05 would come first, 6%, and then 2/4. Let's do our next one here. 4/10 is 40 out of 100, which I know is 40%. 8/10 would be 80% because I moved that decimal 2 times. So now I can put them in order. 4/10, then I have 48.5% and 0.8. You could have switched yours a different way as long as you got the same answer. Okay, let's take a look at our last page here. Benji spent 50 minutes playing basketball this afternoon. What part of an hour did he spend? Write the fraction in simplest form. So I have 50 out of 60 because there's 60 minutes in an hour, and that simplifies to 5 6s. If Mrs. Feynman scored 18 out of 20 on her technology test, what percent is that? 17 out of 20, sorry. I'm going to get my denominator to 100 here. So I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom both by 5. And I get 85 out of 100. Once it's out of 100, I know this is an 85%. There's an 85% chance of thunderstorms. Write this as a decimal and fraction. So I know it's 85 out of 100, which would be 85 hundredths. Okay, now that you're done watching, you're gonna start on your math space. Go ahead and do your math space. Make sure to show your work.